Hey guys, it's Joshy here bringing you my first theme team battle video. Now this one was suggested by a good friend of mine, Devi Storm, in one of the comments, and he suggested a Chinese Zodiac team. I asked him which 6 he'd rather and he said bunny, snake, dragon, tiger, ox and monkey, so that's what I did. Also, if you guys have any ideas for a theme team you'd like to see, or suggestions, or even Pokemon or anything else, pop them in the comments, and if you like the video, leave a like, because they all add up and help in the end. I rather enjoyed this theme team and it was quite a decent one. I had a fair few decent wins without trying too many, especially random battles, and I picked my 2 favourite, and then I got a short little one at the end which I thought was fun. So anyway, this game I led off with my Survivor for the snake, and I went with my switcher. I've sped it up here heaps because he's just gone for beat up and I've locked him into it. I was hoping he wasn't going to switch and he didn't, so now he's faster than me because he got a choice scarf. I can't do much. I was hoping to get the 50% poison chance here on the poison fang, but it didn't happen. Anyway, now he's stuck into beat up. I knew I had a chance to set up with my Dragonair. Dragonair set was actually really interesting, carrying Dragon Dance and Thunder Wave, followed by Dragon Rush and Waterfall. So he actually played well in a fair few battles. Here he crits me just at the end and I just live, so it slowed back down to normal speed here. And after 2 Dragon Dances, there's no way Houndoom would have probably lived without a Dragon Dance, but now I can outspeed a lot of things, and after seeing the team that he had at the start of the video, I thought I was pretty confident here as long as my accuracy hit. So he brings in the Noivern here, and I'm like, I know I'm going to outspeed this, and I go for the Dragon Rush, and of course I miss. So he goes for the Dragon Claw and takes me out, but I was on 7 HP, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. And yeah, that's 2 down for me, 1 for him. So I brought in my Tauros here, and this caught a lot of people off guard because although it's not completely original, it's one you don't see as much, but I've seen it a little bit, is the Sheer Force Specs special attack set. And because I have Blizzard, I pulled that out here, and he thought I was going to use a physical move and swept into Torterra, probably expecting a Rock Slide or something, and he goes straight down like a pack of, well, yeah. Anyway, he brings out the Greninja, and I didn't want to stay in here because I knew he's probably going to pull out a Hydro Pump, whether he's Life Orb or whatever. Anyway, and so I thought I'll bring in Ambipom. As long as he's not Life Orb, I have versed a fair few Greninjas lately, and I usually know I can take it and Ambipom does just take it. So Ambipom's my monkey of the team, the Year of the Monkey. And you've probably seen this set if you've seen any of my other videos. So Fake Out, Protect, Fling, and Last Resort. So actually switches here, which I didn't expect. Into Lopunny, and I thought this is actually really good because I just used my Fling, so I flung off my Razor Fang. He would have flinched if he stayed in anyway. And I thought this is really good because I've seen it happen a few times. They bring in somebody who has high jump kick, and because they don't expect Ambipom to also carry the Protect, they go through and take off half their health. But he actually just goes for the return here, and so I wasn't 100% sure if I would, depending on the EVs on this Lopunny, but it didn't matter, I took him straight out. And so the battle was actually looking really good here, and he brings out his Dragonite next, and well, there's no use for me swapping no matter what, especially now that I'm up to my last resort and I have nothing to fling off. And unfortunately I just miss out on the kill with the last resort, and his Dragonite's going to take me out with the Ice Beam. So I've already lost my Dragonair, which was a shame because if I didn't miss I could have nearly done a lot to this team, if possible swept, which would have been cool. Anyway, I bring the Tauros back in and I go for the Thunder in case he does go for the swap here into Greninja, which I was possibly expecting because, you know, he can take a Blizzard if I do hit well. But unfortunately I miss here, as you do, you know, when you're using stronger powered, less accurate moves, it's going to happen. And he goes for the Z move, Devastating Drake here, so after using Ice Beam before, I'm sure it's Dragon Pulse. But he could be a mix set as well. Either way, Tauros is not going to live there, so that's the Year of the Ox down. Oh, excuse me. I also have my Lopunny for the Year of the Bunny, obviously, and I've got 2 left. So anyway, I was not sure what he was going to do here, and he actually switched into Noivern, which worked really well for me because Noivern was on full health compared to the Dragonite. So I carry Return, Ice Punch, Switcheroo as well on this one with Klutz and a Flame Orb, and high jump kick. So the return just absolutely brings Noivern right down, and so I know I can outspeed pretty much everything else on his team except for possibly the Greninja, depending. So anyway, he does actually outspeed me, and I'm not 100% sure if maybe it was Scarfed even, but nonetheless I do live it, and I get the return off onto the Greninja, and that's the Greninja down. So now it's just down to his Dragonite and my 2. So I wasn't sure exactly what he was going to do here, and I went for the Ice Punch, and yeah, that's it, easy win. So it was a 2-0 win on that one. Yeah, as I said, this wasn't actually a bad team at all. So straight into the next battle here. After looking at his team in the starting menu, I decided actually here to lead off with my Tauros, the Year of the Oxyam, because I knew a lot of my attacks matched up well with his team, and because a lot of people don't expect a special attacking Tauros, I thought this will work well. So I actually brought out the Salamence, which was one of the ones I really wanted to see him bring out. So I get the Blizzard off, and I actually hit, thank goodness. I didn't actually miss a Blizzard at all during all the battles I had. Other moves, yes, but not Blizzard, luckily. Here he brings in the Hawlucha, and I knew, you know, we've got high jump kick probably coming, and he's faster than me. I had nothing I wanted to really switch into this, so I thought, oh well, Tauros has taken out the Salamence. I was hoping for a miss, but I didn't think I'd be that lucky. I wasn't, and Tauros goes down there. So I bring in my Ambipom here, and as you've seen before, I knew a Fake Out to get a nice chunk of damage off on him. I wasn't sure if I'd outspeed, and then once I checked the stats, he should outspeed me just by a little bit because I'm actually adamant, not jolly. So I go for the Protect here, and unfortunately my Fake Out didn't take quite enough off, and so even with a half HP loss from the high jump kick miss and crash, he lives just on a tiny bit. So I thought, well, you know, surprisingly this battle, which was really close in the end, you'll see I didn't get to show Dragonair off too much, where in every other battle Dragonair really was probably one of the higher MVPs. Nonetheless, as I said, sacked him off here, 2 high jump kicks, was kind of hoping for a miss but wasn't lucky enough, and that's Dragonair down. So I bring my Ambipom back in here, and I thought, you know, even if he switches, something's going to take some decent Fake Out damage, but he doesn't, and he stays in here. And that's the Hawlucha down, thank goodness, because he was a bit of worry to a fair bit of my team. Now, here they brought out an RK9, and I'd have to say a few battles ahead of this during today actually, I had another RK9 similar, shiny, but he was a defensive Rocky Helmet, and it drove me nuts. So I was really hoping this one wasn't going to be as much of a pain in the backside as the other one. So I go for the Protect, trying to scout out what he does, maybe Will-O-Wisp or something, and he actually does the Sunny Day, which is no help whatsoever. So I didn't want to really switch out here, but I didn't really have much option, so I thought I'm going to bring in the Seviper and see what I can get off with him. He goes for the Flamethrower here, and even with the Sun Up, I believe I just live on 16 health, and I know I'm going to be faster because I'm Scarfed, and I go for a Poison Fang, hoping for the 50% bad poison, and I don't get it again. So that's Seviper down to the second Flamethrower. So here I thought, well, you know, I've got to try and move the Sun on a little bit so he's not quite as powerful and see what I can do. So I brought Ambipom back out. This time he hasn't been intimidated, so I get the Fake Out off with a nice chunk. But he obviously has a Berry and reheals a fair bit of his HP again. I actually had only revealed that I had Fake Out and Protect, so I thought I'd use Protect again, use a bit of the Sun and see what he's going to do, because he doesn't actually know what else I'm carrying. And of course he goes for the Morning Sun, but then I was probably lucky I didn't go for anything else and take more off, because he would have just healed it back up. And lucky for me, the Sun's faded, so I know he's probably going to go for the Sun again, try and set it up again, because it really boosts him and his healing. So I go for the Razor Fang Fling here, flinch him out, and this turn he's most probably going to go for the Sunny Day, so I go for the Last Resort, hoping to take him out. But he's probably a little bit bulky, so he does just live there, but because he uses Sunny Day, I was pretty easy to take him out here because he didn't do a move, and really no other member on his team highly benefited from the Sun, thank goodness. So once this Arcanine is down, I had no need to worry about the Sun. Okay, so here he brings in the Lugia, and you know, shiny Lugia, whether it's legit or not, I don't care. But yeah, and I was like, oh, here we go. So I thought there's no use me swapping. I'm stuck on my last resort. If I swap out, all I've really got is fake out and protect. So I go for the last resort and he pulls out the Carmine and I'm like, okay, I'm not too afraid of this because I actually don't have any special attackers left on my team now. So I wondered if he was going to keep trying to set up and possibly carry the Roost, and I was a little worried about that, but I didn't really have much option. I thought, you know, if he pulls out the Roost here, I'll know, but he doesn't. He actually pulls out the Area Blast, and I thought, Ambipom actually lived that after a Carmine, so I was really surprised on that one. But I actually only have one more last resort left because of the pressure ability, so that was my PP gone anyway, so if I didn't die here I was pretty stuck. So I was glad that Ambipom went down here. It gave me a perfect swap in time, and if he did carry a healing move he didn't have the chance to use it, but he did also carry the leftovers, so there is a possibility he was more of a quick bulk up than attack. So I needed to outspeed this, and I was very confident, or I knew Lopunny was going to outspeed it anyway. So knowing it's super effective, I just used the Ice Punch here because I hadn't had a chance to use it yet in many battles, so that takes out the Lugia. And this actually surprisingly was a Pokemon I was a bit worried about, the Magikarp, because I had a feeling here he was going to do this, and I thought he might be Focus Sashed, or he could even be a Z-move Magikarp, and he uses Flail, so I was actually assuming he'd be Focus Sash, but I needed Lopunny for his last Pokemon. So here he goes for the Splash, and I'm like, okay, is he trolling me, or I didn't know what was happening, and I get a Cross Chop in case he swapped in, but he wasn't Focus Sash, so I was really confused what he was going for there. Anyway, out comes a shiny Greninja, and I was kind of hoping he'd swap into this, but a Cross Chop, but he didn't. And he is Protein, so this Hydro Pump's going to turn him into a solid water type instead of solid dark. And I just live there with my Incineroar, the Year of the Tiger. So I actually, with my Incineroar, run 100 EVs in defense, full attack, and then the rest in HP. So here he's going to take me out, but he's only on low HP, thank goodness. And so even though in this battle he didn't do much, in the battle before he didn't actually get seen, I had a few battles where he really carried the team. And one battle, I think he took out 3 or 4, but of course they're disconnected because that's what you do when you're losing by a bit. But anyway, he goes for the Hydro Pump, which hits, and surprisingly I versed a fair few Greninjas in all my battles, and not a single Hydro Pump ever missed. Anyway, the return's enough to take him out, and that was a close win, and that was pretty fun. So yeah, that's the 2 battles, so I hope you enjoy the next little battle here.